Look like it is TJ and Aaron for the press conferences.
Playmaking is what sets things off, and when you're not making plays, um, it sucks, and we need to find ways to be able to make plays. And I mean, I've never seen a team run the same play as much as they ran it tonight and have as much success as they had. I mean, I'm out of words for it.
Also, with the defense, you guys provided several opportunities for the offense, giving them great field position, and they didn't even catch with a field goal. So when you get through time of possession, is it true? The defense hates to admit any weakness, but sometimes do you guys get tired after the time of possession favors the other team by such a large margin?
If we get a 3 and out, we're off the field. So it's as simple as that. The attrition is on us for not getting off the field. There's nobody else to blame but ourselves. It's as simple as that.
The Bills kept running on you guys. Is it something that you guys talked about going into this week, and what led to the lack of adjustments to counter it?
Absolutely. I mean, we knew that Four was a hell of a runner. I think number 1 and number 2 rushing offense in the National Football League. We knew that he liked to bounce outside. Knew that he was an elite running back. Weren't able to stop it tonight.
How much did that impact your ability to rush Allen and be a factor that way?
Significantly.
Did you feel like it was physicality, execution, assignments? Where was the missteps when it came to the run?
We'll have to watch the film, but it was an ass kicking in all areas. It's.
TJ, what's going through your mind when you hear boos when they play Renegade and when they're chanting to fire your coach?
I'm focused on what we can do better as a defense.
TJ, as a leader on this team, what can you do to get this team to play better?
It's a great question. Have tough conversations, but we've been having tough conversations. So it's finding a way to just play better, try to get everybody else. I'm looking at myself in the mirror as well, trying to play better, and we need to figure something out, because clearly what's been going on hasn't been working effectively. To not be able to stack wins in the National Football League is not a winning formula.
TJ, you've been on some teams where the situation mid-season looked bleak, and you guys eventually figured it out. Can you apply any of that to what's going on right now, and how?
We just need to look within, man. I don't want to look at any other examples. We talk about the talent that we have. We talk about everything that we have, but right now we don't have a kick-ass defensive group, and that's all that I can speak on.
What do you guys have to do to get back to being that kind of a group the way you guys thought you could be?
I'm sure we'll discuss that plenty this week.
It seemed like they were running a lot of duo right at you guys and bouncing Cook outside. What about that concept, the way they run it, made it so hard? And is there anything you guys could have done to try and slow it down?
They were very effective. We tried many different things and weren't successful.
Anything else?
Do you feel like you guys have the answers inside the locker room to counter teams that want to run at you this way?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I mean, like you say, it's not a tough run concept. I mean, it's something that we need to stop.
Good. Thank you.
So I know a lot of people brought up the backup offensive tackles, right? Dawkins out, Spencer Brown out. So you got backup left, backup right. And it's how did the Steelers not take advantage of that? Because I think they walked out of there with 0 sacks, if I'm correct. But I'm going to Google how many pressures they had, because, I mean, I'm watching the game and a player has Josh Allen dead to rights, and he makes a step. And boop. Make it miss. Alright, so as far as I can see, so I had it look. So it pulled together the advanced pass rush numbers, and there's a small disagreement between sources. So I'll give you the clearest picture and explain why. Short answer, most advanced stat providers list the Steelers with 12 total pressures. They broke it down to 11 hurries and 1 quarterback hit. Let's see. There was one place that only said they had 2 pressures. Next gen stats couldn't give any totals in the free summaries. PFF's 12 is the most commonly cited team total. So, I mean, would I have said 12? No. Would I have said near 10 maybe? Yeah, so I'll say 12. You know, I can accept 12 pressures, right? On 23 pass attempts. Or passes that were actually thrown, I should say. If it was a passing play, you pressure and Josh takes off running, then he didn't pass the ball, but it was still a passing play. So, 12 pressures, let's call it, right? And I know one, my example, TJ had him. He got away and he ran, and then that's when he like slid, and who was it? Maybe Queen came and hit him. And obviously the Bills players wanted a flag, didn't get it. There was a scuffle. And then another one, I think Nick nearly had him, but Josh would just make a step or do a little thing, or he would just take off. He would avoid the rush, and he'd get away from it, and they weren't able to bring him down. Sometimes they had him, like, literally dead to rights, and just couldn't get him. So, I mean, I spent so long trying to find information on that, that I'm 3 minutes and 14 seconds in on the video, but I'm nearly 15 minutes recording, so that's how long it took to find that information, and then I just ended up going to ChatGPT. So, yes, they didn't get any sacks, but they were pressuring him. Like, they were. And then, just the running the same play over and over and over and over and over. And, I mean, is it blaming the coaches for not getting the right personnel out there? Is it the players that you know it's coming and you can't stop it? It's kind of just that, who do you blame? Do you blame everybody? So, let's move on to Aaron.
Any amount of time to get comfortable because
Oof,
of this, and where
the
was the
nose.
disconnect tonight with the offense?
Yeah, we just didn't have a lot of positive plays. I felt good enough to be out there. Just not ready to take a snap under center yet. Hopefully next week for that. I'm disappointed in my performance, disappointed in the offensive performance.
Right?
And
With the nose.
we got to flush this one. We're 6-6, and we had a game for the division lead this week.
Aaron, what lacked in the offensive performance? What caused what we saw tonight?
No, I got to look at the film, but it's just execution, obviously. But I got to look at the film.
In the third and 9, where you guys ran it to the right with Kenneth Gainwell, was that the called play, or was that something that you guys checked into at the line of scrimmage?
That was called play.
Aaron just didn't cut on the nose, or is it broken?
I hope it's not broken. But yeah, just had to stop the bleeding. It was bleeding all over the place.
As a quarterback, when you guys are down and you're in that down and distance, what did you see on that play to try to run the ball there instead of trying to attack downfield on the third and 9 where you guys ran?
Come on, man. Do you want to start talking philosophical? Is that what you want? It's 3rd and 9. They brought pressure off that side. So we checked. We had a run called that we checked the blocking. They did on the run, and we had a chance. We had a chance. If that thing hits, nobody says a goddamn thing. If we block on the front side, on the perimeter, literally everybody's blocked up. And we got to sustain those blocks on the outside. Kenny
gets first down there, nobody says a damn thing.
You hit Darnell a couple of times late there over the middle there. Before that, there hasn't been much. It's been a while. Is the offense like avoiding throwing across the middle of the field? Is that a thing, or is it just not happening?
No, there's no avoiding it. There's plays called every single week. There's just not separation and not the coverages that dictate the ball going down the middle of the field. Now that play, it did. They played too high. Darnell did a nice release. We wrapped around the seam runner behind him and made a positive play.
Hearing the
Down in
inconsistencies
front.
that have been happening in this offense, does that stem from something that's not happening in the preparation? You talked about a lack of focus that happens sometimes during the week. Is that what the root of these problems are?
Yeah, we'll look at it. I'm not sure. I thought we had a better preparation week and a poor practice week for whatever reason. I'm not sure if it was the cold weather or what it was, but it wasn't our best week of practice. That doesn't always translate to a negative performance. There's been great practice weeks and bad performances, and poor practice weeks and great performances over the 21 years of my career, but it wasn't the best practice week. So we got to practice in the elements better, and the execution, again, just wasn't where it was. I can give you a better answer on Wednesday, but let me look at the film first.
What happened in practice that tells you that it was a poor practice week?
It's a lot of things, kind of just a feeling. A lot of it's just the energy of practice, and the tempo. So we talked about it, and I thought Friday was better, but I thought, Thursday wasn't a great tempo execution practice for us on offense.
To that end, Aaron, TJ said you thought your guys were flat today. TJ said that.
Yeah.
You're great.
No,
Based on what you just said about it.
No, it's just there's momentum swings in the game, and I didn't think we had great performance in the first half. We were ahead. There's a lot of conversation at halftime about some different things. We came out, called a play. It was gloved. We hit in the bag, fumbled, 10-7. We just never really recovered from that. I thought there was other parts of the game day experience that were flat as well.
Do you see the flatness within the game and in practice as something that's not being done right from a coaching aspect or preparation aspect that's kind of framing you guys in the wrong way?
I know what you're trying to ask, and I'm not going to go down that road at all. I believe in the coaching staff. I believe in Mike Tomlin. That's why I came here. And players need to take accountability, myself included, and I will continue to. I got to play better. But there's 11 stars on offense, 11 on defense, plus with the personnel groupings that we run. And we got to have a Monday to Saturday that we can be really proud of, our best Monday to Saturday, and go out and play our best game and take control of the division.
Aaron, as an offensive leader, what can you do to help that process?
A lot of things. We had some extra film sessions this week. We had extra walkthrough Saturday night. So I thought the preparation, like I said, was better. But the practice wasn't as good as I thought it was. That doesn't mean you're going to have a bad performance. But the execution today just wasn't good enough.
To that point about...
Did they show you anything different
No.
on film? So it's just more your execution?
No, not really. They brought a couple corner pressures that we'd seen, but no, it was playing their coverage and did a good job, stopping the run, and there wasn't a lot of guys with a lot of separation.
Aaron, you came here because of Mike Tomlin. You say you believe in the coaching staff. Did you hear the crowd's frustration, some of those Fire Tomlin chants in the fourth quarter, and kind of what goes through your mind when the entire crowd is that frustrated and that restless about the situation?
Yeah, that's part of it. They pay money for a ticket, so they have the right, good, bad, or indifferent, to say what they want. So I totally understand the frustration. I've been booed on offense, even in Green Bay, over the years. So that was a boo-worthy performance, and I understand the frustration.
Do you have to check his
The
phone?
game day experience, is there anything you can elaborate on for the?
No.
Aaron, is there anything that you see from a halftime perspective? There's been a number of games where you all led at halftime. However, going into the second
9-3.
half, you all lost those leads. So are you seeing anything from an adjustment standpoint that you all could do better in the second half?
I think it's kind of a misnomer for the most part. There's 12 minutes for halftime. Part of that time is coming back in, part of that time is going back out. There's not a whole lot that happens at halftime. You know, there's conversations that happen between myself and the linemen, and conversation from position coaches and coordinators talk, but there's not wholesale changes that need or should be made at halftime. There's little adjustments that you talk about, things you like, openers for the second half, but you know, players, we got to take accountability for our performance. Mine wasn't good enough tonight. I'm sure there are other players as well that feel the same way.
Even after the way
You
things.
talked about the accountability of guys needing to hold themselves accountable. You've been on championship teams, have seen your fair share of locker rooms. This late in the season, is it concerning that that's still an issue right now?
Who said it was an issue?
There are guys not holding themselves accountable.
I never said that. But I said we need to hold ourselves accountable.
Do you feel like people are holding themselves accountable right now?
I do. So didn't hear TJ, but I'm assuming that TJ held himself accountable, and I'm talking about my performance from a critical standpoint. I expect the rest of the guys to do the same.
Even after the way things have gone for you, this team collectively, recently, you guys still are in a tight race in the AFC North. What do you think is going to be the key to maximize the opportunity down the stretch?
No, we control our destiny. We got to win. We got 3 division games. 2 of them versus Baltimore next week and the last week of the season. So it's a tough place to play. I played there before during the COVID season. So we got a great fan base and be loud and rocking, and we got to bring the right mindset.
Last one here.
Aaron, it seemed like you and some of the receivers were off on some of the routes, the go ball to Roman, the one to Jonu, or either the seam he settled down. There were some scramble drills that seemed a little out of sync. How do you guys build that connection this part of the year, and how do you kind of go through that with your pass catchers, where it's saying, hey, maybe I saw this, you see this, iron those out over the last 5 minutes?
When there's film sessions, everybody shows up, and when I check through a route, you do the right route, you know? Like John and I just weren't on the same page. I checked to his in breaker and he ran out breaker. You know, John is a true professional, so I'm sure he's sick about that. But you know, I threw a ball I thought was going to get hit by the wind, and it was 4 yards over Roman, so I got to make that throw. But you know, we have our meetings every week. We have other opportunities outside of the facility, and look forward to seeing all the boys there.
All right. Thank you. Thanks,
All right. So a lot of people felt like when Aaron mentioned that with Jonu, that he was taking a shot at him, right? You weren't at the film meeting, therefore you didn't know the signal, and you ran the wrong route. I've also heard the opposite, where Jonu didn't see the signal. Yes, he's at the film meeting, but he didn't see it, and therefore did not run the right route. And it's not always, hey, Jonu, and I guess it was like a choke signal or something. So it'd be, hey, Jonu, because now the defense sees that. You're kind of doing just a general, and it's up to Jonu to keep his eyes on Aaron to get that signal. That, oh, okay, I'm doing this now, instead of what I was supposed to do. Excuse me. So I have seen that as well. I've seen that said by some. The pass to Roman. I mean, Aaron, just as it's leaving his hand, the wind could have just stopped, and then all of a sudden he sails it. He thought the wind was going to push the ball a little, so he had to give it a little more, and otherwise he would have underthrown Roman, assuming wind. He threw it how he thought and needed to be thrown. And then all of a sudden, no wind or less wind, and it sails over his head. Things happen. That's where if you're playing in a dome, obviously that doesn't happen, you know. But that one question where he takes the pause, right? Leans down, grabs his water. Oh, is that Pellegrino or something? Whatever. But grabs his drink, right? Starts to undo the cap, and it's like, I know what you're trying to do, fucker. Like, that's kind of it. Where it's, alright, I hear the question. I know what you're trying to do. So, fuck you, right? And that's really interesting. I will say that is interesting. I don't know if guys are getting tired. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But let's head over to the locker room.
Why do you think you guys can't find a rhythm on offense?
You know, at the end of the day, as cliche as it sounds, it always comes down to details and like small things. Early in the game, just not getting a rhythm going early. You know, getting in a lot of third and longs. You know, and just everything just comes back to small little details on each and every play.
Calvin, do you feel like this is fixable?
Oh yeah, most definitely. If it was, you know, a talent issue or something like that, I mean, that'd be a whole different story. But you know, you definitely don't want to be still saying these things this late in the season. But it's fixable just because it's you know, mental errors. You know, it's not a lack of, you know, a guy just getting beat and just losing and stuff. It's not that. So.
Were there any limitations out there with Aaron Rodgers' injury at all with the offense?
No, I think everything was open. Probably have to ask him more personally, but from my standpoint, everything was open. We just didn't execute.
What's stopping you guys from finding a rhythm on offense lately?
Just execution. We got to be able to do our assignments and what we're asked to do, and got to do it better.
One of the first times I heard them boo Renegade, fire Tomlin Chance. What's going through your mind as a player when that's happening?
It's disheartening that we're not putting the product on the field the fans are proud of, and I get their frustration, but you know, we got to be better on the field for them to buy in, and it sucks.
You guys are still within reach of the division. How do you guys not let this continue to snowball late in the year here?
You said it. We win next week and we're in first place of the division. Hold the tiebreak over Baltimore, and that's where our focus got to go. You know, this sucks. That's the only way to describe this loss is it sucks. But you know, we playoff football still ahead of us, and we got to do what we got to do to go into Baltimore next week and find a way to get a win.
When you look at the losses, the 4 losses, they're blowing second half leads. Can you put your finger on what happened?
I mean, not today. I haven't got in and watched the film, so no, I can't point at anything directly. There's just some things that we have to continue to work on defense, continue to hustle, continue to execute.
How much does it weigh on you guys as a locker room, as a team, to have to keep having these conversations with us and in these post games where there is just this mounting frustration?
You just can't let it. You have to. I mean, we have big games coming up, and we have to be focused on that. Obviously, we'll learn from this, and I mean, yeah, it's heavy on the heart, but you got to move on, and you have to be prepared for the next opponent.
Hey, they can do a lot of different things with their run game, obviously, as good as Cook is, as well as Allen can run the ball. Was there anything that they got you with that you weren't expecting coming into this?
No, the coaches did a great job of preparing us. Some of the big runs that hit on us, we went over it a bunch of times this week. We just have to continue to execute.
Kim, how do you put into words the frustration, the emotions that you feel individually and that this locker room feels at this point after another loss?
Individually, I'm just concerned about this team. You know, 2 big losses back to back. But there's, you know, we have a big game next week, but right now I'm kind of pissed off with how we played. And I'm saying it lightly, but I hope everybody in this locker room is too.
Cam, it seems like we're talking about the same thing week after week. Execution, get back, watch the film. How do you fix those things this late in the season if it hasn't been fixed already?
Accountability, ownership in what you do. We got to be in all three phases. And if you can't say, I was wrong on this play and I need to be in this gap and do your 1/11th, it kind of sets our team back. Not pointing anybody out, but myself included, we all have to be responsible for what we do on that field.
Do you feel like that's an issue or has been an ongoing issue this season?
Just inconsistent.
So it wasn't shown here, but Cam at some point brought up the incident between him and Josh Allen. Cam says that Josh Allen kneed him in the stomach. Much like we learned with the Jamar Chase and Jalen Ramsey incident, nothing goes unseen. So if he did, there will be video of it. There's no doubt about that. And the question of how do you, like, was it on purpose? How do you know? Basically, he said that Josh said, this is he said, but, or kind of, but, that he had to get him off him somehow. So, according to Cam Newton, Josh Allen kneed him in the stomach to get him off of him. And a lot of people kind of found the play, and it's hard to see a lot. So, again, the NFL has all the different angles. They have all the high def video as well. You know, I don't want, you know, Joe Schmo from the sideline or from his front row, just like with his little phone, or heck, even the guy with the camera on the sideline, if he's shaking, like, no, show me the 8K cameras that the NFL has, like, and get the right angle to show whether Josh did or did not. Now, if, I guess, let's assume he did, right? I don't see this as the same as the Jamar Chase situation. Kneeing someone in the stomach is not as bad as spitting on them. So if Josh did do it, and if there is evidence that he did it, I don't think he deserves a 1-game suspension. I know Jamar got the 1 game for spitting. Trevon Moehrig, the safety for the Panthers, got a 1 game for nut tapping. Juwan Jennings. Now this. So, but I think if anything, Josh gets a fine, and that's probably it. I can't see him getting more than a fine, if I'm being honest. Now, the part that gets me a little bit is, let's say it was an accident, right? And Cam's like, bro, did you just knee me in the stomach? And it's, no, I'm sorry, I was trying to get up. It was a complete and total accident. My bad, I'm sorry. But you're going to say, I had to get you off me somehow. That tells me that you did it intentionally. That tells Cam you did it intentionally. You know, if it's an accident, say it's an accident. If it was intentional, but it looked like it was accidental, you could probably get away with saying, my bad, it was an accident, even though You don't mean that. Cam doesn't know that. My bad. It was an accident. Sorry. And that's the thing. Obviously, if it was an accident, you say that. If it wasn't an accident, you say that. But let's say it was an accident. You're going to lie and say, yeah, I meant to do that? There's no reason for you to. There's no reason for, if you actually need him, to lie and say that you meant to do it. Like, there's no reason for that. So, the NFL will have something over the coming days. We'll see. Like I said, it's probably a fine. Now, any kind of fine below, I would say maybe $100,000. Anything below $100,000, 6 digits, Josh Allen's barely gonna feel, right? Just me. Just my own opinion. That he won't be suspended, but he'll probably be punished. So if you guys did enjoy this, please do leave a like. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on. I'll see all you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.